Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the FGTN show. It is Saturday this week. We are one day behind schedule. Last night was a crazy night here, so we're doing it 24 hours late. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see how many people pop in. Drop in the comments. I see people already lighting it up here, saying, hey, where they're at and what their ice conditions are. Make sure to join in the conversation. We've got a packed show tonight. We're going to be zipping through things in order to get through all the stuff. We're going to be talking about some new products. Primarily, I guess it's really one product category that we're going to be talking about, Daiwa. They've got a new rod series that they came out with. We're going to be talking about some deals, some things that we're seeing going on right now that could save you a little bit of money, as well as maybe is the Buddy Flex Heater on its way out. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Ice fishing tournaments, depending on the state that you're in. I'll link these things down below. After the stream is over. I didn't get a chance before we went live here on the show. So if you're on the replay squad, you can check it out down below. But most states in the ice belt have an online portal where you can see what ice fishing tournaments are happening during the ice season. We're going to talk a little bit about Minnesota's and a couple of other options that are out there. We'll zip through that. And then we're going to talk about some news. 2025, it's almost here, right? It's 4 days, 29, 30, 31, 3.5 days, 3 days and 2 hours away. What should we expect in 2025 for fishing gear and tech? I've got a couple things, a couple ideas, both near term that I think are realistic and are going to actually happen, as well as dreaming a little and maybe talking a little bit about how technology and AI and things like that could actually disrupt the industry for good or for bad. Who knows? We're going to talk about that. And then we've got a brand new segment that we're starting tonight and we're going to do moving forward. It is called Answering Emails from Viewers. Of course, we need a much better name than that for it. But I get pinged a lot, right? Whether it's DMs or it's emails or it's people on the shows or comments and things like that. And I want to have a spot where if there's some very frequent questions that are coming across, we have an opportunity to answer them, because I'm sure they're not the only people that have those questions. So I've got 3 or 4 questions lined up tonight. There is, if you're interested, whether you're on the replay, you're live or whatever, moving forward, I will always have in the bottom of the videos in the description, and I'll try to do it as a pinned comment. There's an email address. You can type question@fgtnshow.com, email in any questions that you have. And each week on the show, what I'll do is I'll select a few of them if there are some questions there, and we'll go through them near the end of the stream, kind of in the Q&A session. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then there's also just a link down there. So if you don't want to email, just want to hit that URL that's down there, it'll take you to a page on my website, and you can just fill out a form, click submit, and you're done there too. So either way works. But that's going to be a new kind of fun, exciting thing that we're going to start doing, a new segment that we're kicking off. And we're going to see how well it goes. And then we'll wrap up talking about what's going to happen here in just a couple days from now, is my traditional annual New Year's Eve stream. So I'm going to go live from the ice, live streaming for multiple hours, bringing in the new year. So we'll be out on a lake. You'll have to wait until the end of the stream if you want to know what lake I'm planning on going on. And it is not the same lake that I've typically been on. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about if you guys have any ideas or requests for things to do during that live stream. But yeah, that's our show. So we've got a ton. It is packed. We're going to say hi to a couple of people here, and then we're going to jump into the content. I can see Scratching with Blaine is here. How's it going, man? Thanks for being a member of the channel. Good evening, Matt J. Photo. Everybody just saying hi. Nice to see everybody. Matt saying, I was surprised the lake you went on today didn't have an inch of standing water. I am surprised too. I was out on Mille Lacs Lake yesterday, and there was probably an inch when I got out there, kind of 10, 11 a.m. And then when I left, I was only out there for like 4 hours. When I left, there was probably 2 to 3 inches of water. That video will be getting edited. That was a video that I did yesterday, was a comparison between the Garmin Panoptix PS22 ice fishing bundle. And the number one thing people are asking me to review right now is the Lowrance Eagle Eye. So I had both of those units up and running, and we were in down mode because it was so crappy out. It was like literally raining and foggy yesterday. So we stayed in the shelter and did a comparison video. So look for that coming up. But there was water actually running down the holes and starting to swirl. So that's, of course, something you want to keep an eye on when you're out there on the ice. But yeah, hoping this cold front that's coming through in the next couple of days here is going to freeze things back up. Ryan's out in northern Wisconsin, ice camping. Love it, love it. Pete, we lost most of our snow here in Manitoba Interlake yesterday due to light rain, warm temps. Yeah, hopefully now it just freezes rock solid, right? Let's start building them inches back. What's up, Charles? A couple more members here. I love seeing the members from the channel tuning in. 4 inches of water in Minnesota Metro today. Yes, definitely. I know there's been a lot of places that have shut down their accesses around the Metro in a little bit, even north of here. Marcus, Frank, what's up, man? All right, let's go ahead and jump into the content. Keep dropping comments down below. Let's have a little bit of dialogue and some fun as we go through. But let me get my ugly mug off of the main screen here and pull up some deets we're going to go through. All right. Daiwa's new Elite travel rods are now available. This is the Ardito series. I don't know if I pronounced that right or not. There's only like 3 or 4 websites that have information on this. So I'm going to cover it. We're going to cover it quick. We're going to go through everything really quick tonight. And then if there's questions or anything, we can always go deeper into them at the end of the stream. So they've got a handful of new rods. It's the Ardito travel rod series. It's a premium line of travel rods. And the idea here from Daiwa is that no matter if you're traveling, you're out and about, if you don't have a lot of space to have a full-length rod, you can now use a travel rod. So they've got 2 different styles. So they have your collapsing style, like what you're going to see here. They've got the Ardito, I don't know how to pronounce this, Jitte, Jitty, I'm not sure. But this is their premium, one of the new flagship. It is a self-contained telescoping rod. So you can see it telescopes down on itself here. This is MSRP'd at $199.99. It does still have the full train of 8 guides on it, but it is super compact. They have it's a spinning travel rod that is a medium power, fast action, designed for 16th to 3/8 ounce lures and 3 to 10 pound line. They also have a casting version of it that is medium power, fast action, designed for 3/16 to 5/8 and 7 to 16 pound line. So that's what we're looking at there. They have the Ardito premium travel rod. That is this guy, the more traditional multi-piece travel rod. Here's the model number of that guy. This is a medium light 4-piece spinning rod rated for 5 to 12 pound test line, an 1/8 to 1/2 ounce lure weight. So you've got a casting and spinning, telescoping, and then you've got a casting and spinning for your multi-piece travel rod as well. And you can see a couple of the different versions of that and how they have the different the joint systems. And that's what they're talking about here. So prices on these, they've got a handful of different rods here. MSRP $199, MSRP $250, and MSRP $199. So you can go to Daiwa's website. I will link it down below as well, again, when the stream is over. But that is where, if you're interested in picking up any of these are open water rods, you can go ahead and check them out. So kind of interesting. All right, next up, I want to talk about the Buddy. So that was like the new product. So the Buddy Flex. So here is Amazon. I need to zoom in. I didn't realize how small this is, which is probably a good thing the way I've got it shown here, because that way I know to make it bigger for you all. All right. So we've got the Buddy Flex heater. This, when it came out, was about $175 roughly, depending on where you went. You could maybe get it for $160, maybe $190. Of course, sale prices would happen as well, and of course, some people charge more than that. This thing is down directly from the Mr. Heater store. Actually, before I say that, let me look. Ships and sold from Amazon.com. So this is from the Mr. Heater store This is the Flex Buddy heater, $79.88. Tell me that's not crazy. $79.88. Now, if you remember back about a month ago on the FGTN show, we actually did a segment where we were talking about this. And it was actually when the Eden Prairie, Minnesota Shields Ice Fest was going on. And what I had shown you is one of the tags that I saw was a clearance tag, like a closeout tag. And it was for the Buddy Flex heater. This is the newest heater that came out with outside of the Big Buddy Pro series, the one with the electric ignition in it. And that brings that fan back. This is the second newest heater that they have, and it has not been received well in the market. This is my opinion. Of course, Mr. Heater hasn't announced that, but I know so there's some people that love this heater. They like it because you can plug in a cooker to it. I have this heater. I bought it. I own every one of the Mr. Heater portable heaters, right? So the little guy, the portable Buddy, the hunting Buddy, the big Buddy, this Flex heater, the Big Buddy Pro. Like I've got them all. The OG Big Buddy that has the fan in it with the piezo igniter in it. Like I own all of them. This is my least favorite one out of all of them. It looks the coolest. It has the most functionality in terms of being able to hook a cooker up to it, but it just isn't reliable, and the heat output isn't that great either. It's kind of gimmicky in the idea of the heat around it. Again, my opinion. But what I will tell you is no matter where you go, this thing is on crazy sales right now. So here's a look. If you haven't known about this website, I'd highly recommend it, because one of the things that I like to talk about is how do I save you some money? That's one of the value propositions of this channel, right? As we talk about fishing gear and tech. There's a website called camelcamel.com. It is exactly the way that it sounds. So like there's 3 camels. It's camelcamel.com. I'll link it down below. And you can go there and you can search for products. And that's what I did. I searched for this product and it shows you the history of the price of the product on Amazon. So this is a good way to know, is it on sale? Okay, does it normally go on sale for that price, or is this a crazy low deal? Look at this. So this goes back to November of 2020, right? And we can see on Amazon in November of 2020, I don't know if I click on it. It just brings me to the listing. So I can't do that. And I don't think it's working if I hover over it. Let me try changing it up here. Yep. So hovering won't work. I'll just zoom in a little bit to make it a little easier for you to see here. So the highest it's ever been was $221 on Amazon. So when it came out in October, November of 2020, it looks like probably about $200. And then around the holiday season, it went on sale and kind of dropped down to that 150 is what it looks like here, right? And then it fluctuated back up closer to that 200 mark, and then down on sale deals to probably 125 is what we're seeing here. So I'm not going to go all the way through this, but as we zoom past all of these years here, what we're going to see is the end of November into December of this year, it dropped from its kind of average price point of 150 down to the 79.88. So now if we just look at the last 3 months, you can see the price point, even in the last month, the price point, the highest it's been is 131 on Amazon. And then like you can see how many times it drops down to 80. This is typically an indication, in combination with all of the other factors that I talked about, closeout and clearance deals from different retailers that are discontinuing in terms of holding it in their stores, this type of pricing. And then there's many questions online about it too. My guess is this is getting discontinued. Of course, that has not been officially announced yet. I don't know why they would do that. There's got to be a reason for it. Maybe they're coming out with a new version of it. Maybe. I don't know. But just something to be aware of. And I thought it was pretty interesting. So I wanted to share with all of you for that reason, as well as at $80, it's not a bad heater. So if you were interested in picking it up, or you already have one of these and you love it and you want a second one, you're one of those people that love it and you totally disagree with me on it's not a great heater, that's totally okay. And I appreciate you being here. Go pick it up, $79.88. If you're interested in getting it, this is a good deal. This is about the same price as a portable Buddy heater. So might be worth your time, or keep an eye on it and let's see if we watch this thing get discontinued right in front of our own eyes, right? Kind of interesting. Okay. Other deals that are going on right now that we want to talk about. So I actually had a buddy reach out and send these to me. So thank you for sending these over. You know who you are. Appreciate it. This is at a Costco warehouse, and they've got the portable buddy. So this is the 9,000 BTU portable buddy heater with an included 5-foot propane hose and fuel filter for a price of $49.97. This is a really good deal. This was about a week ago that I had this sent to me. So I don't know if it's still in Costco. I tried to look on Costco's website. I am a member at Costco. I even logged in and I couldn't find it. So it might be in store only. So if you're around a Costco, have a Costco membership and want a good deal, maybe go swing by. It looks like the heater area in the store where they've got these things and maybe you can score a good deal. This is like my favorite heater. This is the heater that I use the most out on the ice. This is another view of it. So this is from Woodberry, Minnesota, back when it was in the app, back on December 21st that you can see here, which was a week ago, $49.97. What's a little bit misleading here, unless this is real, is that there is a fuel keg, propane tank here. This is their refillable, like the Flame King 1 pound refillables. This is the same thing, except it's from Mr. Heater. It's their line of these. I bought a few of these last year. I don't believe it comes with it, but it is misleading to have it in the photo. But anyways, that same price again in Woodberry, at least the Costco a week ago, if you're interested. So kind of interesting. But I love those heaters, so check them out. All right, we've got Amped Outdoors. So I'm going to call this out, and you can save, if you use the link down in the description, you can save. Actually, I've got a deal set up with Amped where you get 10% off anything on their website if you use the link down below. But that's not why I'm telling you about this. What I'm telling you about it is because this guy right here, this is the 19 amp hour Life PO4, I'm sorry, 19 amp hour NMC. So this is 14.8 volts. So this is going to get you more battery life and lighter than a 19 amp hour Life PO4. Granted, Amp doesn't have that. They've got the 15 amp hour, but at this price, you're getting a crazy good deal because it's a higher voltage as well. So if you have a flasher of any sort, this thing is going to be like money for you. You'd have no reason to have more power than this if you have a flasher unit. If you have any type of unit like a Lowrance Eagle Eye, if you have a Garmin Panoptics, if you have any unit with a 7-inch screen or smaller, if you have an underwater camera, like that's what this thing is really good for. If you have live scope, I'd bump it up to get to that 30, 32, 48, 52 size, but this thing's great. It's 29% off right now from 170 down to 119. There's nothing wrong with the battery. The reason why this is on sale is because he's trying to blow out his inventory of the old look and feel of the battery. So this is the 19 amp hour with the black top. He's now moving over to the green tops on all of them. So yeah, there it is. The same battery, 19 amp hour lithium, 14.8 NMC with charger, $169.99. So you can see it's the same battery, same price. It's got the green top with the new one versus the black top in the new logo treatment on it. So he's trying to flush out some of this old stuff, but it's a great battery. Go ahead and pick it up. And again, if you use the link down below, you save an extra 10% off of this. So that's $12 extra off, right? And it does come with the charger. So this is an NMC battery, so it has a higher voltage. So you want to use that higher voltage charger with it, higher voltage than a Life PO4, and of course, lithium ion and lead acid. So yeah, good deal. Anyways, I'll drop it down below in the links. Or right now, I think right now have a link to Amped Outdoors website so you can get 10% off. And if you go on their website and click on, I think it's, ice fishing batteries on their website and scroll down, you'll see it there. So if you want to get to it before I put the link directly to the product, you can do it that way as well. All right, I think this is the last deal we're going to talk about tonight, and then we can get to some of the other topics that we've got. So we have got here Strikemaster lithium 40 volt light auger. So I think this is the best deal that's going on right now on the 40 volt. If you're interested in picking up the Strikemaster 40 volt, you want to get into an electric auger, you want that composite flight, this is not a bad deal. This is not the auger that I would buy. I'd go with either the E40 or I'd go with the Alpha. But in terms of price point right now, this is a pretty dang good deal. You can see, oh, the price has changed. Oh, it's because it's out of stock. The one that was there. Well, maybe this isn't a good deal. I had this ready to go last night, and evidently the deal ended. So you can see what that price was before. It says save 40%, but for some reason, promotional and clearance pricing. Save 40%. Okay, let's just do some math. I'm going to pull up a little calculator here. $649.99 times 0.6, right? Because we're going to pay 60%. That gets to $389.99, but it's saying it's $552. I don't know. Maybe I got to refresh the page or something. But the moral of the story here is the Strikemaster lithium 40 volt light auger, evidently, according to this little thing here, is it does say promotional and clearance pricing. I think we're all fairly well aware by this point that this is probably what it's meaning, that I have highlighted right here. These words, not this word, but this word, because I have a feeling this thing is going away next year as they are trying to get rid of it, because yes, they are coming out with a new one next year. All right, on deals, that is what we got. I am going to flip over to fishing tournaments here after I take a drink of water here. But drop in the chat here. Are you tuned in? What's the latest piece of ice fishing gear that you picked up? And did you buy it at a sale price or did you buy it at full price? I've always wanted to know how many of you are still like, let me think about it. This year, there maybe is a couple of lures that I paid full price for. Otherwise, everything else I only buy if it's like on sale, right? So an ice show deal, a sale price online, I find a promo code, you know, like all is consumer, right? It's not because I get deals through these different companies, but like I'm finding the deals. How many of you are the same way? Do you pay full price for any of your ice fishing or fishing gear? Or are you always only buying when it's on sale? Because I feel like in the ice fishing space, the season's so short. There's huge promotions at the beginning and at the end of the season. It's like, why would you spend full MSRP on it? Let me know. All right. We got Utah Mike saying he's got some 2B rods from Shields on sale. Just got an Ion G2 for $399. That's a crazy good deal, man. That's that Shields deal, right? And you even got 2 batteries with that dang thing. Lots of sales this year. Charles, member of the channel, says bought a Jet Sled XL for 33% off and an Ion Quick Connect kit for 25% off. HD bag from the show at Wisconsin, 50 from the owner, looking for a sale at the end of the, yep. Old black amped, yep, 19, yep. It comes to $107.99. Love it. 107.99 with that extra 10% off. Love it. LVS 34 on sale. Installed a diesel heater in my flip over. Pete, did you pay full price or was it on sale? Gotta let me know. Just got an Ion with extra battery for $599. So yeah, so you're my people, right? Like, let's find these deals. One of the reasons maybe you like watching this content is I try to save you some money too, right? Cool. All right, as you continue dropping those in there, I am going to pop over to our next topic, which is fishing tournaments. So we've got to keep zipping here. We're already 30 minutes in, and we're like not even halfway through the content. So I'm going to go quick. But this is the Minnesota page. Minnesota has changed it up a little bit this year, and they're primarily focused on this online dynamic digital format, which I really like. Previously, there would be a date that they would publish a PDF and you could see for the upcoming year what all the fishing tournaments are. Well, now it's online. What I do know is that there's a ton of other states. I looked all of them up last year that I could within the ice belt, and I'll post them all in the description down below after the stream is over. So if you don't live in Minnesota, don't worry. This is still going to be helpful to you, and I'm not going to drain this one. But each state typically has a website like this. And what you're looking for here is fishing tournaments. If you're like me, and maybe you're not going out and reviewing gear, but you're going out and you're fishing, that's fun to do, right? Of course. But what makes it more fun? A little bit of competition. And what makes the competition fun? When you can win something too. It's always a pro, right? And you can meet some people. You get, you kind of get in the zone. It just kind of gets your adrenaline going. It's great. So what I like to do is partake in fishing tournaments. And so here's an example of here in the state of Minnesota. You can see these are all open upcoming tournaments that are happening. So let's just pick a random one here. Well, actually, let's go through. So you've got the date. So you typically what you can see is the date that they're going on, the name of the tournament, the estimated prize, and then what lake. So here's one right here, Lake Waconia, which is about 45 minutes to an hour away from me, on January 11th. If I wanted to partake in it, it's an ice fishing tournament. Estimated prize, total prizes that are out there available is $1,000 to $2,000. And so we can see it's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's in Carver County. All legal panfish. So it's a panfish tournament. It looks like entry fee is $35. Estimated entrance of $350. And I don't know where to get more information. Typically, maybe I could Google this, right? And I could go and try to find more information. Otherwise, I could email Skylar Johnson and try to get some information or give him a phone call, right? So that's one example. Let me see if I can find maybe another, like a big one here. Here we go. Brainerd JC's Ice Fishing Extravaganza. I'm sure most people have heard of this one. It's probably the biggest one that happens in the state of Minnesota. Estimated 15,000 entries, all legal species. And then we can see it's on Gull Lake, 12 to 3, right? And so they show you a ton. Here's a Mille Lacs one. This is one that I do. I try to do every year if I can. Mille Lacs, Walleye Perch, Tullibee. So it's really cool. So if you know, hey, I'm going out, like look at how many are happening on February 1st. So figure out, hey, this weekend I'm going to be going out. I don't know what lake I want to go to. Maybe you find a lake that you haven't fished before, one of your favorite lakes, and there's a tournament. That's the whole point of showing you this. There's also online virtual tournaments too. So there's the Fish Donkey app, and there's a few other competitors that are kind of out there up and coming, kind of in that virtual environment. But I think within the ice fishing community, Fish Donkey's kind of they're the dominant player right now. I know I've registered for 3 or 4 Fish Donkey tournaments this year. I'm not excited for those. They allow you to take pictures and do catch and release too. So get excited for some of those. Let me know too if any of you know of any upcoming Fish Donkey tournament or other tournaments that you're going in, or if you're placing and winning in these things. Share with me. Let me know. I always appreciate hearing from you all. Sorry, I forgot I left that up on the screen there, that chat comment, but yeah. All right. Next up, we've got this FGTN show episode is brought to you by our channel members. So what you'll see is down in the chat and on the replays, you're going to see some pretty cool icons, different color. I think they show up green for me. I'm not sure if they show up green for you in the chat. We've got David B. Burnick. We've got Charles here. We've got, I don't want to forget anybody, Ryan here, Blaine here. So those are the people that I can see in the recent chat history. They're all members of the channel, so they have a pretty cool icon. They get a couple benefits in things. I'm just putting a plug out here that these are the guys and gals that help support the channel, that allow me to do this free content and come back to you. Helps offset the purchase of the gear, the gas to get out there and do this stuff. And I try to do some giveaways in there and try to do some extra content. I'm needing to do more, and there's going to be more there. But if you're interested in supporting the channel, there's a few different tiers that you can help support the channel. Right now, I've got, which I need to do the drawing for, is that clam toolkit. They just drop a comment, and then I'm going to be mailing that to somebody if they are interested in winning. So if you're interested in supporting the channel, that's a great way to do it. Otherwise, just keep watching the video, sharing and liking. That's what I really appreciate. So thank you. We may have some other sponsors on the channel later this year. Of course, none in the fishing gear and tech space. I will not take sponsors or money from any of these brands, because then my reviews turn into ads, and we don't like that, right? But if you are a fan of the channel, you probably know a while back I have sponsorships like Bang Energy. I've done some with them and a few others outside of the space. So it's not a conflict of interest at all. So Next up is kind of one of our key topics here. What to expect in 2025 for fishing gear in tech. This is an AI generated image, just something to have on the screen as we have a little bit of a conversation. I will be popping up a couple other tabs though as we go through this conversation. So what do we know about fishing gear and tech in 2025? Well, there's a few things that we know already. We know, some of you know, maybe I know, there is an ice fishing gear company. Let's call them an ice fishing focused company that will be releasing a live sonar option. So you think live scope, right? Of course, we know there's live scope, there's mega live, there's active target, there's now the eagle eye, there's a few others that are out there, right? There's a new one that you probably don't know about that's coming out from an ice fishing focused company. They don't really do anything in open water, but they're ice fishing focused. They're coming out with live imaging in 2025 is the plan. So look out for that. That's going to be really exciting. I'm hoping to get my hands on it as soon as it comes out. Who knows when it's going to come out? I thought it would be out already, but evidently it's not coming out. Maybe they're going to launch it right as the new year comes around. So that's pretty dang exciting. What else? Mega Live 2. We know Mega Live 2 is coming out, right? We know that some of the guys and gals that work directly with Humminbird have that new Mega Live 2, their live imaging. The Humminbird Explorer is coming out in January. Both of them will be publicly available in January. I'll be purchasing them to be able to do some side-by-side comparisons. But what is coming out probably in the fall of 2025 with that product is a Mega Live 2 ice fishing bundle. So as we think about the product that they have now, it's really focused around open water. Well, they're going to be coming out with an ice fishing bundle. So I'm assuming a shuttle with a pole and a battery and a bag. So I think that's something that we can look forward to coming this year. And in fact, let me pop this up on the screen. This is from Humminbird. This is the Ice Helix 9 MSI Mega Live bundle. So this is the Mega Live 1, right? So this is obviously an option that's out there. This shuttle alone I was looking at is like $400. It's a super sweet shuttle setup, right? The way that they've got it designed, it's freaking awesome. But it's like $400 to purchase the shuttle. But anyways, this is the Helix 9 with the Mega Live 1. Of course, we know that the Mega Live 2, the new forward-facing down, like live imaging sonar, does not work with the Helix units, and they are not releasing this ice bundle version at launch. So that's what's hopefully coming. It'll probably have an Explorer screen rather than a Helix screen, probably the Explorer 9, I would imagine, the Mega Live 2. And I don't know if it will come with an ice fishing transducer. Maybe it will. I guess we'll find out, which could be interesting. So that's coming out this fall, I believe is the plan. So that's something to look forward to. We've got overall within the live imaging space, I think we're going to see a lot of compression of prices, which is really good for the consumer. So one of the things that I like, a lot of people ask me like, well, I hate like this company came out with something new and it's not even to the standard of another company. Well, the thing to keep in mind is competition is actually always good, right? If you can keep an open mind, like you can have your opinions, your preferences, you can, be brand loyal and, stay within an ecosystem. That's all good, but it's good for competition because that compresses the prices. So that way it's like if Humminbird has something and they like, for argument's sake, let's say this Mega Live 2 is going to be comparable to the Live Scope Plus. Let's just say they're going to be comparable. What is that going to do? That's now going to make it so that Garmin can't just dominate sales alone, right? They now have competition. So now people are going to look at it and say, okay, I have two technologies from different brands that are somewhat similar. Which one do I want to go with? Now things like, what's the price? Oh, this one's cheaper. This one's less of an investment, right? There's other factors that come into play other than if I want live imaging and I want the best, I got to go with this brand. So competition is good. And I think what we're going to see is because all of these new live imaging companies and products are coming out, two things are going to happen. One, compression of prices brings our prices down, makes it more affordable for all of us. And two, innovation. So the Garmins of the world, right? As other people are coming out with things, and the LiveScope Plus is now what, 2 years old, 3 years, 2 years, 2 years old, right? At this point, 3 years maybe. I don't even know. Is it been 3 years already? It's 2 or 3 years. Anyways, they got to come out with something new now, right? Because they got to keep innovating to show that they're the dominant player in the space, if that's what they're going to do. So I think this is all really good for us, and I would expect to start seeing prices dropping on a lot of these products here in 2025 as we think about live imaging. So if you've been on the cusp and you've been waiting to buy live imaging, this, I think 2025 is going to be one of the better years to get a good quality unit at a attractive price. So look for those sale deals to be dropping before too long. What else do we got? We talked about the Strikemaster 40 volt and how it's on some crazy deals right now, depending on the day, of course, that you look at the websites. But Strikemaster's coming out with a new auger this fall, is what I have been told. So look for that. It is looking to compete in weight to the E40 auger. So look for them to try to find the lightest and fastest out there. I don't know the specs. I've never seen it. I have no clue what this thing's going to look like. But they are looking at coming out with a new auger this year, which is why that 40 volt, I think they're trying to blow through stock of that, as well as the 24 volt. So let's see what happens. I don't know if they're going to replace both, if they'll keep the 24 and the 40 volt around because they've got extra inventory. Maybe they're just going to replace the 24 volt. I don't know. But what I do know is they're coming out with a new auger this year is the plan. Multiple new ice fishing float suits with multi-season wearability. So I think that there's a shift that's going to be happening now in the world of ice fishing float suits, right? I have a very strong opinion that if you're going to be buying a warm jacket or a suit or something to go out ice fishing with, you're silly not to buy one with flotation in it, because there's now so much optionality out there that you can get something that's affordable to be able to keep you warm without breaking the bank and being that safety net in case something were to happen. Like, why would you not, right? I mean, I bought a vest this year from Striker Ice at one of the shows. It's a float vest, right? Like, and it was $100, and it has the same amount of flotation as a full float suit jacket, but it's a nice vest, right? I'm gonna wear the thing in the boat too, right? And so it's like they're coming so far with this technology. You're silly not to go with flotation. But what I'm starting to see, kind of the inklings of here, is that they started coming out with float suits a handful of years ago, right? And they were really catered towards, they're really warm, they're bulky, they're puffy. And now you're starting to see a little bit more of the slimmer fit, right? While still having the warmth with the higher quality materials in them and a flotation. Well, now what we're looking at is a layering system where there's one or two or maybe even more layers in these suits for multi-season use, because they're using more premium materials. The prices are going back up. It's kind of that innovation funnel again, right? Competition is pushing prices down. And so now they're saying, well, we're going to build a better product. It's going to cost more. Well, guess what? If you're still only able to use it ice fishing, because that's only when it's cold enough out to wear it, that's going to be a hard sell. So now they're looking at how can we make it so that in the cooler months in the spring, people will want to wear it, in the cooler months in the fall, and of course in the cold months of winter. And so I think what we're going to start seeing even as early as this spring, for sure in the fall, nothing I can talk about, but a couple of companies specifically will be coming out with more of that multi-season wearability in their suits, really catered towards use this for 3 seasons. They may even have some that are 4 seasons where the outer liner is just truly, it's not insulated, but truly like a rain suit. You wouldn't, of course, wear it all the time, but if it's raining, so you could truly get all your use out of it. So that's another big thing that I think we got coming here in 2025 to look forward to. Next up is the app space. I'm gonna take a drink of water here and see what are people thinking so far about what we're talking about? Anything that's surprising you, or anything else that you know of that's coming out that we should make sure that we hit on. And then I'm going to talk about the app space here in just a second, but let me grab a drink here. Got a couple people saying, I hope the prices will get down to under 1,000, similar to the TVs in the past few years. Yeah, on live imaging. Well, the Eagle Eye, man, it's $1,000. You can get it on sale. I think the best sale price that I saw was 15% off. Was it 20% off? It's 15% off was the best price that I saw it. So, granted, the Eagle Eye comes with the live imaging transducer in the head unit. It does not come with a shuttle or a battery or a pole. So you still, of course, need that. But yeah, they're really, really close. I think the Ping Live sonar from AccuFi, granted, they're going to have patent issues here in the U.S., but that was expected to be launching, I think, in the sub 750 price range. So we'll see, but I think there's some pretty cool stuff coming. Frank saying that's why he loves his Striker Ice Climate Jacket. The inside layer is mostly year round. Yeah, 100%. Frank, have you worn or have the new Ice Climate suit? So I have the OG Ice Climate suit like in my gear garage right now. And Striker sent me, they reached out and they're like, hey, do you want to compare that to the new one? And I'm like, sure, I'll check it out. Like, no guarantee in video, no guarantee in anything I'm going to say. So they actually sent me one of the new Ice Climate suits. I'm going to do a comparison to check it out. Of course, not sponsored. I do not work with Striker. They sent it to me, and we'll see if I like it. If not, maybe it won't even make a video. We'll see. But it does look promising, some of the improvements they have. It's the same one, red and black. Yeah, same one that I had, the OG one. Yeah, the red and black OG. Well, now the new one that they came out with this year has some upgrades to it. It's a little bit more form-fitting. Quite a few things are actually new on it, as well as the color patterns on it. But yeah, that was I think that's the warmest suit they have or had. I don't know about this new one that they have. But the OG climate suit from Striker was warmer than the Apex suit by just a little bit. But the Apex suit is freaking incredible. It's my favorite suit right now. LVS 34 in black box has come down to $14.99. Yes. Is that MSRP, Wayne? Is that like a for sure thing? Like it's going to be $1,500 now instead of $1,700, or is that still just the holiday sale price? That would be interesting. Brian's asking, what happened to the live imaging that worked wireless on your tablet that you look at iCast? Man, I just haven't had time to get it rigged up. I've got it in my garage, Brian. You will see it on the ice this year, probably within the next couple of weeks. You're going to see me doing videos on it. The video that I shot yesterday was the Eagle Eye, the new Eagle Eye live imaging versus the Garmin Panoptix PS22 Ice Fishing Bundle, the new one from them. I'm trying to just bang out. There's so much in live imaging I'm trying to compare. We've got the Ping Live sonar, the Eagle Eye, the Panoptix PS22. We've got, of course, LiveScope LVS 32 to the 34. We've got the Humminbird Mega Live 2 that's going to be coming out here in the next handful of weeks here. So I'm trying to keep up. Plus that other one that I talked about at the beginning here that should be coming out here soon. There's a lot, and I'm trying to do a ton of different, like, what about hole hopping? What about if you're in down mode or forward mode, target separation? What about casting your TV weight-wise? And so there's a lot to cover. But yes, I'm 100% going to be covering that. This one's towards the bottom of the list, to be honest with you. It's the one I'm probably kind of the most excited about, but I know it's not going to be able to be sold here in the US anytime soon. So it's one of those things. It's like, could I get a lot of clicks and views on a video? Sure, I could, but it's just going to tease people. And I'd rather give them something that's helpful for them, for people that are like, I got money, I want to buy one. What should I buy? Help me make a decision. And so I'm focused on what is more valuable for the viewer. And so that's why I'm focused on those other ones right now, but it's coming. I'm really excited about it because that should be a setup where it's an ice fishing pole, right? With the tripod. And that's it. Like there's no shuttle. Right? There's no screen. Like I'll just have the iPad hooked up to it on the top, and you can literally move around a pole and you have your whole thing. Like it's going to be freaking awesome. So, Striker Ice did come out with a lot of variety of colors. They look the same. Yes, they did. Good to cover this. 34, 32 shallow water. A lot of people noticing. Yep. Okay. All right, cool. Keep it coming. All right, let's jump into this. So Onxfish, I think, is one of the most disruptive in the app space right now in terms of digital and I think they're going to really boom here in 2025. Not only Onxfish, but I bet there's going to be some sort of competition coming for them as well. A couple things. If you don't know about Onxfish, you're missing out. Especially if you live in the state of Minnesota or you live in the state of Wisconsin, actually those are like the primary ones that you want to be looking at. But they have a free app on iOS. They have a free app coming. I say free. It is free because it's in a beta right now, but you can buy the pro version of it, which I believe I have now. I thought I did. I think I pay for it. But if I don't pay for it, it's because I'm in the beta. It's not that they gave it to me. I have no affiliation with Onxfish. But what's really cool about it is they give you the ability, and I got to do a video just on this because I love this thing, but you can actually say, here's a map of an area. You can even draw a line on it. Like in this area, I want to find trophy crappie. And it's looking back at DNR lake surveys. It's looking at all of this data that they have in the database, and it's showing you, here's the 6 lakes that you want to check out. You can click on them, and then they're going to tell you, abundance level. They're going to tell you the latest fish surveys, when they were taken, what the measurements were. So you can really identify that stuff. You can see weather patterns here. You can see depth charts. Like there's a ton. It's super, super helpful. You can do waypoints on it. You can see who owns what property. So if you're trying to figure out how can I get on this private lake, you can literally look people up and say, oh, look at this. This is Johnson Gerald A. trustee. Let me swing by and see if Gerald A. Johnson is available, or Lon and Judy, right? And see if one of them are home, and just let them know, I just want to get access to the lake. So like there's a ton of really cool things you can do. I think it's really disruptive because it's essentially taking a ton of data and it's making it simple and consumable for you. Here's a view of survey data, species size. This isn't about this app, so I'm not going to drain it here. Track your path, right? So you know where you went. So when you're coming back off the lake at night, when it's dark out and you don't want to hit an ice ridge or a spot you haven't scoped out yet, if you're on early or really late ice, follow your track back, right? There's a lot of really cool benefits in it. I think this type of thing is really going to take off. This is the best implementation I've seen. I have probably 5 or 6 other apps out there that do similar things. Onxfish is the best. Now, granted, I live in the state of Minnesota, so it's easy for me to say that because they support the state of Minnesota and now the state of Wisconsin. So you can go access it on the web. You can access it on the web on your mobile device if you have Android, and then through the app in iOS. They are coming out with that Android app early this next year is what it sounds like is going to be happening. So check it out. But I think this is going to really be a disruptive space in the future. I almost want to say what I hope happens. I don't know if it will, but I think that the app space could potentially take over for what you would consider like built-in maps on a chart plotter, right? On your screen, even on the boat, because it's just so much more dynamic and it's already online all the time that you can get updates all the time. What I'd love to see happen is like, and it's not going to happen with at least Garmin, right? Because Garmin bought Navionics. But what would be cool is if like Garmin had a partnership with Onxfish, and you could actually just use the Onxfish, all of its features on the chart plotter, right? Like put the app on the chart plotter, and now you're syncing back and forth via Bluetooth, and it's updating your app on your phone. So you truly have the latest and greatest. You have fishing survey data on your Garmin, right? Like I think like that's where this space needs to go and where we may see it go in the future. I don't think it's going to get that far in 2025, but for sure the app space in mobile phone space, it's going to dominate. Making apps is so much easier now with all the AI tools that we have out there. It's just like, how do we get all of the right data to use it appropriately? So pretty freaking awesome. We got Luis is saying, I love it. Found a nice gill the other day with it. That's awesome. Love hearing it, man. Love hearing it. All right. Okay. So These next ones I think are a little bit more future out, but like as we talk about AI in the recreational sport fishing space. So this is a long article. I don't know if AI wrote this thing or somebody else did, but it's something to look at here while we talk about it. So there is a lot of technology that goes into identifying fish species, where the fish are, depending on the weather, where you should go target them. Most of the time, it's an offshore, professional, sport fishing, you know, tuna fishing type scenarios where they're netting fish, they're fishing coral, they're like doing all of those things. And so, what I wanted to talk about is at what point are we going to start seeing that information come to freshwater ice fishing type scenarios, right? Or even open water just within the lakes. Now, granted, this technology is not going to be cheap, right? And so that's where I think it's going to take time because they've got to refine the technology, and then as it scales up, it gets cheaper. Kind of the evolution of live sonar, similar scenario, right? It's been available in similar formats for coastal and on the ocean and big sea, ocean going vessels for a long time. And it's kind of coming down to the more kind of consumer market, if you will. So like you can see based off of the tides, based off of the wind, based off of the jet stream, based off of the thermoclines and the things that it can see in the water. It can generate 3D maps. It can identify if you're looking for a bluegill, this is ideally where they're at in this lake at this time based off of the exact conditions that you're using. They've been able to use AI in some of these coastal spots to reduce fuel costs because of efficient route planning trying to catch the fish. 40% improvement in finding productive fishing spots, 30% increase in successful fishing trips, a significant reduction in time spent searching for fish. Looking forward to the future, the integration of AI with satellite mapping services continues to evolve. Real-time fish movement tracking, right? Predictive and analytics for fish migration patterns, enhanced weather and sea state forecasting, and more detailed underwater mapping capabilities. Of course, again, I'm not talking about this being right now in open water, like lakes, freshwater lakes, ice fishing scenarios, but it's going to get there, right? I'd love to see more of it kind of starting to hit the consumer market, but it would be really, really cool to see some of this starting to show up. So I think that's one thing I wanted to talk about. The other thing is ARVR, augmented reality or virtual reality. I think everybody's probably seen a YouTube video or two on this type of thing where there's these smart glasses that are out there now, right? Where you can actually hook them up to your phone, or you can hook them up to an wireless HDMI dongle, and you can have your live scope or whatever, you know, your fishing sonar on there, your underwater camera on there, and they're literally on your glasses and you can see that type of thing. The question is are we going to see more augmented reality and virtual reality type headsets coming out where you're going to not only be able to just look at the same screen on your glasses, but are you going to be able to do more? Is it actually going to be able to see through the water by having sensors in your boat, on your ice fishing pole that you have down there, to actually be able to give you more information than we can even get today, that we could even dream of, right? Like we talk about who has the, you know, the lightest shuttle because of the screen. Like, what if you didn't have any of that and all you had was a transducer down there wirelessly transmitting directly to your glasses? Like, I think the technology is evolving to that space. This article specifically that I'll link down below is about Ed, who is a 53-year-old Bassmaster Elite Series Pro. And he used this, right, in February and even the year before out on the water as a professional bass fisherman to be able to use. This is a live scope image with the background removed on it. This is not what it looked like, of course, but to make it as a photo online, it's an illustration that they had popped up here. So I think that's one spot that I can get to. The other thing that I think in 2025 is probably a little bit more realistic. However, I still think that, yeah, maybe we're not going to get there this year, is there's these products, right? So Canfish is a specific company that does underwater cameras, underwater drones. I've contemplated buying these types of things, right? So it's a drone. This is an open water, scenario where it's a drone that actually swims across the top of the water. You got a controller with it. Think of like a flying drone, but in the water, and it deploys down a camera, and you can literally swim the camera around and check out all of the different spots, right? And it's wirelessly transmitting back to a controller that you have in your hand. If I can show you here, or on your cell phone, even better, where you can screen record and share, and you can find where the fish are. Like, is this going to be more dominant in this technology space as we move forward? Maybe I need to buy some of these and I need to check them out. And this year we're going to maybe see if we can do that. I think that this is pretty cool. Bring your bait over to it, right? Have that hook on there. I know they have some bait dropping devices where you can actually have on the bottom of this thing, you could actually put your bait there. And when it finds a fish, it could drop it right in front of the fish, right? These things exist today. This is more something that is, this is a very high-end unit. I have no clue how much this thing costs. Probably $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. This is the Chasing M2 Pro. Chasing is another underwater drone company. This is a very high-end unit. But this one, you could actually use in ice fishing. Granted, you got to have a pretty big hole, but you can actually put it in the water. You have a line that comes out of the water. You can kind of see like this yellow cord that comes up. That comes up your hole. You drop it down, and it's literally swimming around down under the water, and you're checking out objects and structure, right? Like, think about, you go out to the lake and you find a spot. You're like, yeah, this could be good. Instead of drilling a hole and dropping an underwater camera, drill a hole and drop a drone, swim it around down there. You got lights on the thing. You can go find where the fish are. Oh, it's 30 feet over there. You got live imaging. That's great. I got a freaking drone camera down there swimming around. I think a couple people have done videos on a couple of these less expensive ones. Maybe even the Chasing Dory was maybe one that was used, or the Gladius. But are we going to see more of this in 2025? I don't know. Of course, the big question, and I'm sure there's a couple people here that are probably frustrated, even me talking about this. And there's going to be a lot of people on the replay. So please comment and let me know. But like, where's the limit? At what point are we actually going to harm, the sport and the fisheries that we're in, right? Like, is there a way to say this is all okay? Just, is it different limits? Is it, how I have no clue in terms of sustainability, how this type of thing is going to impact it. But I'm excited to see it happen. I'm excited to see the evolution that we go through. Of course, I want to have great fisheries for the years to come. I do a ton of catch and release, but I also harvest fish too, right? And I think that there's a balance there that will be interesting to see as technology continues to evolve, where that line is in the future. So, what did I forget? Yeah, let me know down below. What are your thoughts? We've got Google Lens has already failed. Yeah. And Google Lens is just the smart glasses. They're just one of them, man. There's a lot of them out there. I actually almost bought a pair. Is it Ray-Ban? Does Ray-Ban have a pair too? I think they're only I say only. They're only a couple $100. Like, they're not $1,000 anymore. They've come down in price, but I think Ray-Ban has a set now that even had, the reason why I was going to buy them is they have a camera built into them, right? And granted, it's not to be sneaky. There's a big red light that goes on when you're recording, but the idea is that, like, if I'm out ice fishing, right, or fishing, and I want to get that point of view shot, I don't want to wear a chest camera or a head camera. I can have sunglasses on, and it's giving you the exact view of where my eyes are. I almost bought it over the holidays because I think they were like 25% off. But like, they're out there. Granted, that's a camera. That's not smart glasses, but it's evolving. It's getting out there. It'll be interesting to see how they go, and maybe they'll die. Who knows? Frank is saying he's back. Just find the cribs. Yep. Just find the cribs and go fish them. That's definitely a really good strategy, because the fish definitely like those. Crappie limit needs to be changed. 5 daily, 1/12. I wouldn't object to that, but I don't ever need to eat more than 5 in a day, right? That's enough for a couple people. Jay Siemens has a really cool video using the glasses, and I think he's the one that actually did the underwater drone. Was that last year with a viewer as well? So lots of really cool stuff out there that I'm excited to see this year for sure. All right. I had told you about the answering questions from viewers. So again, if you're just hopping on the stream here, down in the description below, and it will be linked in all the videos here moving forward, there is an email address. It's question@fgtnshow.com. Otherwise, there's a link right after it. You can click that link if you don't want to send an email, and it goes to my website where you can actually just type in your question there and click submit. But if you want to submit questions moving forward, that's going to be the best way to do it. Of course, if you're a member of the channel, drop it in the members area. You guys get a little bit of extra access since you help support the channel as well. But even members, fill this thing out, and I'm pulling from those is going to be the primary source of where I pull questions from members and feature them in a segment here on the FGTN show each week, where we talk about answering your questions. If you've got a good idea on what we call the segment, right now in my notes, I've got answering emails from viewers. That's what we're calling the segment. Answering questions from viewers. We need a more fun name for this thing. And maybe you can get a little jingle for it, and we can have a little like 5-second video that plays, and then boom, we'll get into a couple questions. I don't know. I've got visions for this thing if it kind of takes off. So let me know your thoughts. Shoot me an email if you're good at developing that type of stuff. Let me pull up the first question I got here. So here is a question that I got from a viewer. I'll go full screen while I read it, and then I'll pop back on the screen here just to make it a little easier, hopefully, to read. So big buddy heater question, and I tried to blur out anything. Hopefully I didn't forget anything on here that's personally identifiable. All of these right now came in via email. Can you hear me when I do that? I don't know if you can hear me. Let me know. Could you hear me when I took my picture off the screen? So like right now, can you still hear me? I'm going to stay on the screen for now because I don't know if I pulled myself off if my audio went off. So I'll read it here. So big buddy heater question. Hello, Alex. A year and a half ago, I purchased a big buddy heater with the blower fan. You can still hear me. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go back to the screen. So that way it's maybe a little bit easier for you to see. In fact, I could probably do this. Okay, cool. Year and a half ago, I purchased a big buddy heater with the blower fan, and with it, I used the propane hookup hose that has the regulator already attached and has the quick connect for the hookup to the heater. This fall, I started getting a yellow flame on the ignition module instead of the normal blue igniter flame. I used alcohol to clean the igniter tube and everything surrounding it. That did help it for a few times, but now it's back to a half blue, half yellow flame. It ignites fine, but the flame is much higher than the instructions call for. I am certain my issue is oil residue in the tube that emits the spark. I am certain I need a fuel filter because I am using a 20-pound tank. But it seems with the quick connect, there's no place for the fuel hose to connect to a fuel filter. So evidently I have to purchase a hose without the regulator and the quick connect if I want to attach a fuel filter. Am I on the right track? All right. Let me get back on the screen here. So this is a good question. I think I've gotten this question many times over the years. And one of the cool things too is if any of you have recommendations for the viewers as we go through this, absolutely drop your comments down below as well. This is Jeff from Illinois. Jeff, yes, it is likely oil residue, which is why it cleared itself up after you did a little bit of a cleaning on it. You can buy the buddy heater. So two things you're solving for. So most heater hoses that you use with these heaters have that oil that leaches out of the rubber under higher pressure. It can still leach out under a little bit lower pressure, but it's not as apparent. What you're trying to do here is two things. You've got a fuel regulator, which is required for the quick connect, right? Because the quick connect nozzle is not intended to be non-regulated. The regulator hookups, there's two regulator hookups actually in the big buddy heater, and it's both of the 1-pound screw in spots, right? Those both go through a regulated fitting, so you can actually hook up a hose directly to them. The quick connect, on the other hand, is supposed to only have regulated fuel going in. So if you're coming from a 20-pound tank, you need a regulator in line. So yes, you need a regulator, and yes, you need the hose coming through. You will need a fuel filter as well. Now, if you look at the manual, it does not say that you need a fuel filter. Since you are regulating the pressure before it goes through the hose, you're not supposed to get as much leaching. But I know that that happens, and obviously you're experiencing that as well. So my recommendation is to use a regulator, get a hose that screws into your 1-pound connection port, or the better option is there is one hose, and I'll link it down below after the stream is over. There is one hose on the market. It is a 10-foot hose from Mr. Heater that is made of a different rubber composition that never needs a fuel filter, because even under unregulated pressures, it will not leach oil. It's the only hose that I buy. It's the only hose that I recommend. If you go to any of my Buddy Heater videos on the channel, and I've got like a bunch of them, it is the one that's down in the comments in the description. So I would recommend just buying that 10-foot hose instead, and then you don't even need to worry about it. But you will not be able to use the quick connect because it is not a quick connect hose. So you'll have to screw it in. But that would be what I would recommend for you, for sure. The other thing about fuel filters, for anybody here that uses these heaters and has a fuel filter, is make sure you're checking it and replacing it. You're supposed to replace it annually, depending on how often you use it. Maybe you'll do it more frequently or less frequently, but fuel filters are a thing if you have one of those standard hoses. All right, going over to the next question. I'm going to take a drink here as I pop this up on the screen correctly here. Give me 1 second. All right, so we got a question here. Garmin screen recording from Noah. Hi, Alex. I apologize in advance. This is obviously an email. I know you have been working with electronics for a long time now, and I would really appreciate your advice. I am currently in the EchoMap family of Garmin's, and I want to start screen recording. Anybody here relate? Some live scope footage. I'm considering getting one of the EchoMap Ultra 2s to start doing some screen recording. One issue is that it relies solely on the Active Captain helm feature. My main worry is that for longer screen recordings, my phone would not have sufficient storage to store the video. I've also heard the helm feature can be unreliable at times. I'd really love to stay with the EchoMap family, but if I had to, I'd be willing to get into the 8600 series. Just so annoying you can't network them together. I'd really love to hear your experience in the helm feature, whether you think it'd be a viable option. Thanks in advance. Cheers, Noah. All right. Noah and everybody else that has this question. Here's what I would recommend. You're right, that the EchoMap Ultra 2s now have the helm feature where in the Active Captain app, you can actually do a screen recording. There's a few things in the Active Captain app that are weird. One, you can't let your phone screen go to sleep. If you let your phone screen go to sleep, sometimes it times out after 30 seconds, 60, 90, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. You have to go into the power settings and make sure that what I would do is plug it into power so it doesn't die on you. And then go into the developer settings on your phone, which you can Google how to do. And you can say, if it's powered through external power, your phone screen never turns off. That's what I would do. Because if your phone screen turns off while you're recording in the helm feature of Active Captain, it will stop the recording. And you don't want that to happen, number one. Number two, you can't multitask. So if you have the helm screen up, you can screen record, right? If you change over to Facebook, that screen recording is going to stop. So you have to have the phone dedicated. I used to do this, granted through a GPS map, before this was even a feature on the Echo Maps. And I bought a cheap phone that I would just have plugged into power. It didn't even have cell service. I just bought a cheap, Facebook Marketplace, a $50, $60 phone that was a smartphone that could download Active Captain and run Helm. That's what I would probably recommend doing, and get a phone that has a micro SD card slot. It can be an Android phone. It doesn't need to be an iPhone or anything fancy. That would be my recommendation if you're trying to do a lot of this. Get that cheap phone with a micro SD card And then what you can do is in the device itself, in the app, is you can choose where to record the video to. So in terms of storage, you can actually record directly to that micro SD card inside of the phone. You can also get dongles that allow you to have your power cord go in, as well as have a SD card reader on it too. They make them for iPhones too. So if you just wanted to use the phone that you have now without having to spend more money, that's a couple of ways to do it. I haven't had too many issues with the app crashing. So as long as you can keep the screen on, you're not going to be playing around with other apps on it while it's recording. And you can get an SD card to make sure that you have enough storage on it. Those would be the things that I do. It doesn't take up a lot of storage for the recording. So if you got like a 128 or 256 gigabyte micro SD card, which you can probably find for $20 to $50 online, maybe even cheaper. I haven't priced them out in a little while. You should be completely fine for a full day of recording, right? The one thing I would recommend, a little trick, because of a lot of different ways that I do recording, is start and stop it a couple of times, right? So throughout the day, like if you've been recording for a period of time, I don't know how long you're looking to record. Are you looking to record an 8-hour day? If so, maybe every hour or two, stop it and start it again, just to make sure that that file can close itself off. It can finish processing. So if something happens and your phone overheats and it corrupts the file, you don't lose all your recording. So try to do a couple of them, start and stop it every once in a while, just as a safety net. So that's what I'd recommend. However, the 8600 GPS map series is incredible. But yes, they won't network together. So I probably wouldn't even go that route. But that would be my recommendation. Hopefully this is helpful to you all. Let me know below what you think. Chris is saying Mr. Heater has a quick connect version. Off the look. Is the 10-foot one that I'm thinking of? Is it a quick connect? I thought it wasn't a quick connect. Maybe it is. No, I don't think it is. Maybe they have a new quick connect version. I'll have to look. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate the call out there. All right. I've got 2 more questions here that we're going to pop into. Let's pop this one up here. I'll take another drink and we'll pop this one up. This is another Big Buddy question. Look at that. All right. Question about Big Buddy from Kathy. Can I buy propane from the convenience store and have them fill up my 20-pound tank? And if so, what hoses will I need to buy for the Big Buddy? Well, we kind of just answered this question for another viewer's question here. So can you buy propane from the convenience store? Absolutely. And have them fill it up? Yes. In fact, that's what I would recommend is if you have a 20-pound tank, get it refilled rather than exchanged. You're going to save money and you're actually going to get it filled up usually to that full amount. Whereas if you do exchanges, they usually don't fill them all the way when they do the exchange. So I definitely am always a fan. I use U-Haul. Most U-Haul facilities, at least where I live, actually have big propane tanks and they charge you by we're filling a 20-pound tank, so this is how much it's going to cost. They actually measure the amount of propane that they put into it. So if I brought a half full one in and an empty one, I'm going to pay for 1.5 getting filled up, right? Because they're actually measuring it. And it's pretty reasonable. So go to a lot of gas stations do that, convenience stores. So definitely do the refill. There's no problem at all with that. What hoses do you need? I'll link it down below after the stream's over, but it's the hose that I was talking about. It's the F7. I'm going to butcher the number, so I'm not going to say it. But it's the 10-foot hose that you don't need a fuel. You don't need a fuel filter, and it's not going to cause leaching. So that's the one that I'd recommend. And I literally track my links, and I've sold hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these through my link of people that buy them. And I haven't had a single person, not one, knock on wood, come back to me and say that they've had any issues ever since they bought that hose. So I know it works. It's the only hose that I will use anymore in any of my heaters, because I have destroyed heaters because of the leaching of oils before I did all the research and dug into it. So it's what I recommend. That's my opinion on it, but hopefully that helps you out, and good luck with the new heater. All right. Last question from the viewers that we have here is a depth finder question. Hi, Alex. I currently have a Vexlar FLX 12. I was thinking of buying a Humminbird Helix 5 Gen 3 GPS. I love the FLX 12, but I was hoping for GPS. Would buying an app for your phone be better? Great show, very informative. Thanks for the insight from Michigan ice fisherman. Thanks, Dave. Dave, thank you for shooting over the question. If you have an FLX 12 and you absolutely love it and you want GPS, don't buy a Helix 5 with GPS. I would not do that. What I would do if I were you is a phone app. So you can either get, you're in Michigan. So I'm a big fan of the Navionics app, or through Garmin. You can actually download the Active Captain app and use the charts in there without even having a Garmin unit. Most companies now have I think Humminbird even does, actually. I'd have to check on my phone and see if I still have it. But you can actually get an app. So you should be able to, so like if you've identified Humminbird has the maps that you want, I'm not saying you have, maybe you just threw it out there as an option. But do a little research online and find for your area, what do other fishermen use? What have they found to be the most accurate? Because it really depends on the area. If you talk to guys in Canada or northern Minnesota, the metro area, there's differences in the maps. Garmin makes better for some, Lowrance better for some, Humminbird better for some, other third parties better for others. And so I'd first ask around in your area who uses what that they find to be accurate to the lakes that you fish, rivers, streams, whatever you fish. And then what I would do is go into the app store or online and see if there's an app version of it. And I think all of the big names have an app version of it where you can pay just for that map and then you have it on your phone. If you have a tablet, you can do that as well. That would be the way that I would go, since you already have an FLX 12 and it's going to be a lot cheaper. And you can dash mount it if you want to use a GPS as you're riding around or whatever, but that'd be my recommendation. Otherwise, if you're set on, no, I really have decided I kind of want to go the Helix 5, I would wait at least a few weeks here for the Humminbird Explorer units to come out. When Mega Live 2 comes out, people will become more aware that the new Mega Live 2 is not compatible with Helix units, and you're going to see a ton of people selling their Helix units for many different reasons. We're not going to get into that right now, but if you're looking to buy a Helix 5 Gen 3, you should be able to pick one up for a really good price on like Facebook Marketplace, on eBay, or wherever you buy used stuff like that. Facebook groups or something like that, locally within the next month or so. So you'll be able to save a ton of money on it. But that is what I would recommend for you. Cool. All right. Now, last topic that I want to talk about is New Year's. So we got the New Year's stream that's coming up here really soon, just a couple of days away. I am going to I'm not a big Upper Red Lake fan here in Minnesota. I've never ice fished it because I don't like going by all the people and it's crazy out there. It's just not my cup of tea. I usually will go out to Lake of the Woods for an ice fishing live stream on New Year's Eve. Like the last 3 years I've done that, went live, bring in the new year. And this year the ice is not looking great up there to be able to pull the wheelhouse out and do that. So I think I've made the decision. I'm going to go Upper Red Lake this year. So if any of you fish Upper Red Lake or are fans of it, and you have recommendations on the best spots to go out of, I'm not looking for a spot on the lake, but what I'm looking for is who should I go out of? I think I know of one that I'm going to try to go out of. It is one that typically doesn't have as many people that go out, and I guess they go pretty far out. Again, I've never fished it. So my goal is to get into some walleye, maybe some crappie, some pike or whatever. Like let's see what we can get into. It'll be fun. Want to drive the truck out. So if you have a recommendation, there's a resort that you really like, they have really well-maintained roads or whatnot, shoot me a note in the comments down below. If you're on the replay squad, I'll like the comments even after the stream's over. I'd really appreciate it. But I think Upper Red Lake is where you're going to see me going live here in the next couple of days. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel and you want to join in that live stream fun, we bring in the New Year's live on the ice, catching fish, or hopefully catching fish. That'll be on the channel here New Year's Eve. So make sure you subscribe. You'll get an alert then when we go live. I will have live scope on the screen. I'll be on the screen with at least 1 or 2 camera angles. We'll try to do some fun things. So what I wanted to talk about too is drop down in the comments below if you have a recommendation or a thought or a request, sorry, not a recommendation, but if you have, I was reading some comments here. If you have a request for what you want on the New Year's Eve live stream, let me know. Do you want some giveaways? Do we want to do some giveaways? Should I reach out to a couple companies and try to get some giveaways for every so many fish we catch, or a certain size or certain time? Should we, gamify it a little bit and do some games and some stuff? What do you want to see on the New Year's Eve stream? So let me know down below. Hit me up in the next day or so if you can. If you got some great, big, grandiose ideas or thoughts, or you're a company that wants to do a giveaway. I've already had one company, you know who you are. Thank you so much, that already offered to give away some products. If you are a company that wants to do, where I talk about your stuff a little bit and then give away to the viewers, I'm not taking money from people. I'm not taking product from people, but to give to the viewers of the stream. We usually have hundreds of people that are on for hours and hours and hours. I think last year we got up to like 500 or 600 people on at one time watching and just joining in, having a good old time. So if you're a company that wants to give away stuff, if you got a really good idea on something, you can always shoot me an email as well. It's down below, or bizbiz@alextim.com. Looking forward to your thoughts. I want to make this a fun stream. We do it for hours, probably, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. We'll be doing it. So that is what I'm really looking forward to in the next couple of days here. Hopefully I have a video hitting the channel. That's a little bit of a first impression comparison between the Panoptix PS22 ice fishing bundle and the Eagle Eye from Lawrence that I was able to use yesterday out on Lake Mille Lacs. Again, let me know what you think about these shows. I know this was maybe a little bit longer one, at an hour and a half. We got the new segment in there. What do you want to see as we move forward? We try to do these every Friday at 10 p.m. We're one day late this week, but I wasn't going to not do it this week. We got a lot of really fun stuff coming this year. So thank you all so very much. Tight lines. Be safe out there on the ice. And until next time, hopefully in a couple days, talk to you soon. Take it easy.